I'm really fighting to be the best fighter ever. I never set out on this dream to think like, oh, I was gonna make some money or I was gonna do this. Like, all of that doesn't matter to me. I genuinely just want to be the best. Go down in the history books as one of the greatest fighters ever, so we'll see what happens. Hello, my name is Oceania Navajo Hunter Stirling. I'm 26 years old, light heavyweight, fighting out of City Kickboxing with a professional record of 4-0.
It's not every day you see a lot of noise being made about someone going on to Contender Series. But I mean, it's all well earned. You are one of the most, if not the most, highly touted and highly anticipated fighters coming out of the whole Oceania region that, you know, people want to see get to the next level. Before we dive deep into that, just tell me about yourself a little bit. Let's get some basic info. Where are you from? Where were you born?
Yeah, well, I grew up in a small town, small city, Upper Hutt in Wellington, New Zealand. So it's in the capital of New Zealand. It's like typical Kiwi lifestyle there. Like there's no such thing as MMA where I'm from. MMA is something that's like that the Americans do, you know, that you just see on television. But it's we're pretty far behind in our city. It's really just your typical Kiwi lifestyle, like rugby on a Saturday, back to work on a Monday, you know, tradies and, you know, hitting the pub on Friday, Saturday. That's pretty much all there is to do where I'm from. And things like, you know, social media and YouTube and all that is just non-existent where I'm from. Like,
did you have any type of MMA or like martial arts background growing up?
Nah, I had no MMA background. My background was just rugby. I played rugby my whole life. Dabbled in a bit of volleyball and basketball in my later years of school, but after I left school, I wasn't really doing any sports.
How did you get into martial arts?
Well, I was working at the time. People were watching UFC, like UFC was like the thing at my job.
Where were you working?
I was working at foodstuffs, so I was a picker-packer. I used to pack cartons all day for foodstuffs and send it off to like Pack and Save New World. And everyone would talk about UFC at work and on a Sunday, so like all the boys would just kind of watch it at someone's house, and kind of this was probably like prime McGregor time, and then I saw this guy and I was like, whoa, this guy's like, I've never like heard anyone speak like that before. And yeah, he kind of got me into like at least starting, because I was like, oh, I reckon I could jump back in the fight. I'm not really doing anything. And I think there was a MMA gym in Christchurch. I think it was called the Academy of Combat. I was there for about like 6 to 8 months, just doing the striking, like the Muay Thai classes. And yeah, I think I basically mustered up a plan that I was going to become a UFC fighter, and I never even had a fight. I was just like, oh, I reckon I'm going to do it. I'll just go back home and try to find a gym back home and stay with my parents, go full time. And yeah, I pretty much just got like saved up heaps of money at my old job in Christchurch, and then flew back home to live with my parents. And I just told them that I was like training up for the army sort of thing, and like martial arts training was getting me fit, but I was just lying to them just so I could keep going to training. And then yeah, I remember just saving up heaps of money, going to training, you know, living like an idiot. But I had the passion, which was the main thing. When I think back then, like I was like videoing myself in the garage, you know, watching some Vasil Lomachenko, you know, bag stuff, and I thought I was the man. And then I actually found like a proper gym. I went to a guy that had won King of the Ring twice, Sonny Vanathy. I went to his gym, Archangels, and ended up training. He used to train with John Wayne Parr and them back in the day. Yeah, I was training with him, and he got me into the sport, like got me actually a fight. And yeah, I think after that first fight, I knew like, oh, this is it. This is what I want to do with my life. And
wow, what happened in that first fight?
Oh, I won by decision, but I think it was just a feeling of like being in control of my own outcome, and knowing that if I had outworked everybody, I'd win my fights. And yeah, I've pretty much just been doing the same thing since then.
Tell me about the move to Auckland. Why did you decide to make the move? And was it like a big decision for you?
Yeah, it wasn't really a big decision. It was just kind of like, right, this is the next chapter. I achieved all that I could In kickboxing in the Lower North Island, I'd won all the national belts. I did everything I could. I had dabbled in a bit of like MMA. I got my blue belt in jiu-jitsu like way back then. I was probably started jiu-jitsu for about 2 years, and I felt like I had like a solid base, but there was no real MMA training. It was just a whole bunch of guys just watching things on YouTube and going to a wrestling gym, going to a jiu-jitsu gym, and trying to blend it all together ourselves. But I knew that because I was a big professional prospect in kickboxing, that I would not be able to take the amateur MMA route, and I knew there was no really better place to go than city kickboxing. So I did a small trip up here just to meet with Eugene and talk to the coaches, and yeah, I just asked him if I could come and train, and yeah, he told me he'd get me in the UFC within 2-3 years, just looking at my skill set. And you know, that was I had put maybe 5-6 years for me to get there, and when he said that, I just said, I'll say no more, and I made the trip up. Easy as that.
Why do you think you took it on so quickly, combat sports? Because your progression seemed to have just been like damn near just vertical.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, there was definitely like some lows, but I believe like I'm like a really self-made athlete, and I see like a lot of professionals, they get a lot of things done for them these days that, you know, I never had, and they're not as grateful for like the small things, and I feel like I am, and those, like I would push hard when a lot of guys wouldn't, just because of small circumstance. But I'd always just work. I was really good at working with what I had. Like I could literally probably train myself for a fight if I wanted to, or if I had to. Yeah, I think that's made me like real mentally strong, and I always look at my year in review and think about like what I could have done better. And every year since I came here, I just keep going up, and yeah, it's a good progress.
And has it been difficult for you to get fights?
Oh yeah, for sure. On this side of the world, you know, it's so hard to get the fights. You've got like literally next to no one in the light heavyweight division. Most of these guys are all playing like rugby and league and other sports at this size, and that's like the argument as to why you're not allowed to fight in the UFC, because you don't have enough fights. And you know, the training at our gym is so good, like you don't want to go anywhere.
Do you think it's also to do with the caliber of opponent that you are as well?
Yeah. I think it's just the whole look that I have as well. Like I'm big and lean, and like, you know, you see a lot of light heavyweight guys and they look like a little bit like overweight, or like they don't really feel the division properly. And then they see me and like realize how big I am for the weight class. They're like, oh, you know, it can be quite intimidating, as well as like having a really good kickboxing reel. I think, yeah, it's hard for a lot of opponents to take that fight on.
How would you describe your fighting style?
My fighting style, definitely speed, versatile, a lot of versatility to my game, and ring intelligence. And I would say in 2 words, I would call it evasive aggression. That would be probably a pinpoint name for my style, is evasive aggression.
How would you describe the level of your grappling currently?
Right now, currently, I think pretty good actually. I think I just need fights to showcase where it's at. I'm pretty confident in my grappling. As an offensive grappler and a defensive grappler, like I can take a lot of the boys down at training. That's pretty much what all I've been working since I got here. I actually don't really work on my striking that much. Like striking has always come to me really easily. It's just more so the grappling is where I really wanted to improve on. I don't want to be known as a striker. I want to be a versatile MMA fighter, and I just need the fights to showcase it.
I feel like you've showcased it before.
Yeah, I have done it. Like I've taken guys down and ground and pounded them in some of my earlier fights. But yeah, I think I just need like a big tape, they just need to get me a plethora of fights and different opponents.
Tell me about yourself. What's Navajo Stirling like as a person?
Yeah, I would say I'm pretty like shy, and like I just keep to myself, like shy and reserved. But I'd say like I really want a lot for myself, and I want to be great. I want to be a superstar. I want to be on all the billboards or all the brand deals, whatever it is. Like I just want a super fast life for myself, and I don't know. It just beats being like your typical upper hut kid. So yeah, I want that for myself. I value like more important things obviously, but yeah, I just figure like why not? Why can't I have a lot of these things? Like people say that's not what life's all about and whatnot, but my life is different to everybody else's. So yeah, I just think why can't I have this and that, and I'll shoot for the stars for it. I'm very disciplined. I'm very like strong mentally. And yeah, I can't see why not.
It's a long, hard road to be a professional mixed martial arts fighter. Talk to me about how difficult it has been for you and some of the struggles that you faced on your journey. Describe some of the struggles.
Yeah, I would say like the money one's like a big one. Like, yeah, obviously as a pro MMA fighter, you don't even get that much money. And yeah, I worked a lot of jobs, like a lot of shit jobs. I worked long, hard hours on top of trying to chase this dream, and yeah, that was a hard one, man, because that one really like drains your mental, and especially when you're dealing with like some work colleagues or whatever that you don't like, and or they just people want to see you fall, and dealing with that.
How did people around you, when you tell people about your dreams and your goals, did you have a good support system around you? Where people were
when I was in Wellington, like, it was pretty bad. Like I would tell people about my dreams and goals, and they would think, "Oh wow, that's cool, but that's gonna like come to an end soon." That's like they just think like good on you, but yeah, once you come back to reality, and I could always feel that in the way like people would talk to me, and I just didn't really care. I never cared about what people said to me. I just said, well, thank you, and would go about my day. But yeah, I didn't hang around a lot of people that didn't see success for me, and there was a very short few that really believed I would go all the way, and I still remember those people. And I think when I had poured my all into this, and I didn't have any safety net, that was the best thing for me. Was I don't have anything else to go back to, so it's either all the way in or not. So.
And now you were supposed to be fighting not on week 5 but week 7,
yeah.
Correct? Some things happened, and then they called up and said we want you 2 weeks early.
Yeah.
And then the opponent changed as well.
Yeah.
How have you been handling all that?
Yeah, so I think I got the call up and basically been told that my fight had been pushed forward 2 weeks, and the only thing I was like, I just needed to worry about my weight. So once I checked my weight and I was all good, I just said, let's get it done. Why wait? Let's just gun for it. So yeah, Eugene cleared it all up, and we got the fight. I was always training really, really hard, so I'm not really one to overthink it. Let's just get it done.
And the opponent change, was that just?
The opponent never really mattered to me. I didn't really care. I'm just solely focused on what I want to do, and what I know is that he's a striker, a kickboxer. So that's good, because we get to showcase the skills. I don't need to worry about him, sniffing me for a good 15 minutes and not doing anything. So let's get it. Let's bang.
How would you say your nerves and your mental are going into your Dana White Contender Series fight week?
I just really take it back to when I was in Melbourne as well. Like, that was my first time. My last fight was my first time fighting overseas, and I pretty much went through the same emotions I'm going through now. Like, that was a big fight for me. Like, I knew that I had to not only just win, but put on a spectacle to basically get my shot on this, and it's no different than my last fight. I would think that my last opponent was probably better, but yeah, I think the stakes are high as always for me. When you talk the talk, and you tell everybody how good you are, the stakes are always going to be high, and you know, people have a lot of expectation on you, and you know, I just think, why not? You know, I'm used to this. I've been a main event fighter my whole career. I've done like so many media and articles, and now I just keep saying the same thing: is just tune in and bro, just watch me go to work.
And someone like you, what is Navajo Stirling fighting for?
Man, I'm really fighting to be the best fighter ever. I never set out on this dream to think like, oh, I was gonna make some money or I was gonna do this, like that. All of that doesn't matter to me. I genuinely just want to be the best there is. I want to beat the best. I want to go down in the history books as one of the greatest fighters ever. So, yeah, we'll see what happens.
What's your final message to your friends, family, and everyone supporting you back home?
Yeah, what a crazy life. Like, just want to express like big loves to the people that have backed me since day one, and I'm sure they will know all the conversations that we've had from my old work friends, you know, at my jobs, my old teammates, my old coaches, my mom, dad, brother, sister, you know, all my cousins, aunties and uncles. Like, man, I've had a crazy life, but you know, I've always had you guys behind me, and that's been really important and has helped push me to and propel me to where I am right now and where I'm gonna go. So thank you for it all.